Hi everyone, welcome to Three Cups Tarot, readings to uplift the collective. We're doing another reading for guidance for this week. So this is relevant whenever you find it at any point of the week that you're in. When it finds you, that's when you're meant to hear your message. But if you're interested, I'm recording this on March 30th, 2025. Still in the energies of the lunar eclipse, new moon in Aries, which has been kind of a big buzz happening right now. So if that is a good time marker for you, or if those astrological events are important for you, then please use that as your guide. So these are your choices for today, and you can already see that I pulled the same type of charm for two piles, pile 1 and pile 4. And so if you are drawn to that and that is a mermaid fin, then go ahead, I would say, and watch both of those readings, unless you're being like pulled to the tilt or the number, either 1 or 4 of either. And so besides that, we have reading 2 with a blue bow and reading 3 with a pink and white fan. So just take a moment, take as long as you need, and hopefully this tone, the music in the background, will help you kind of get into the zone and get in tune with your intuition and guide you to the right reading or readings that you need to hear right now according to your guides. And if this is significant to anyone, my cat just walked through the camera. I know you don't see it right now, but the 4th pile fin charm, mermaid fin charm, got stuck to her paw and landed on this deck called the 5th Spirit deck. So I'm going to use the 5th Spirit deck in the 4th reading, if that's meaningful. Okay. Hi, reading 1. So you were drawn to the first group with the mermaid's fin, and I'm feeling playfulness and freedom. I'm feeling this fin like splashing around near the surface of the ocean. I can hear the splashing water sound. So you may be going swimming this week. Maybe have a water event. That should be really a positive thing, if so. And I was called to read only oracle cards for your reading, so I won't be doing tarot cards. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this new beginning with the cherry blossoms and some fish here too. So it is springtime at the time I'm doing this reading. It might even be cherry blossom season wherever you're at. Even beyond Japan, I know around the world there are a lot of places that have cherry blossoms, and they're known for blooming all at the same time, sort of like deciduous trees are known for turning colors all at the same time in the fall. So I feel like this like sudden blooming, like all of a sudden, like the world around you transforms and it's a new beginning. And like I said before, this is really exciting energy. That splashing sound, like, what is that? I feel like there's something I'm not catching in that message, but I'm hoping the other cards will help with that. Double mission, light worker, star seed, serve the world by being you. What I'm being drawn to in this card is this big, it looks like a big bubble. Again, it's like a really playful feeling. I think this is meant to be a planet, but it feels like a big bubblegum bubble to me, like the ideal bubble. And there's a star here, so it's like, it's almost like your inner child's dreams. You know, they were simpler back then. The goal was to make the perfect bubble out of your bubble gum, or to blow the perfect like ginormous bubble from soap bubbles, if you ever played bubbles when you were a kid. It's another water activity. Honestly, if you are an adult and you don't normally play with water or bubbles, the color pink is coming through a lot, like, get some watercolors, get some bubbles, and just blow them in the park. Maybe a kite or a balloon, something that has buoyancy. Yeah, buoyancy is kind of the key word that was coming through the splashing. I don't know why that would be significant though. Buoyancy. I think it's kind of like nothing can bring you down. You'll always float back up with this mentality, with your inner child at your side. Your inner child will always be floating you back up. So you're also getting the rooster and the sunflower communication. I'm going to struggle with this. I think that's 47. And the mouse and buttercup innocence. This is really like the inner child energy I was talking about. I consider this like the Fool in the tarot card, the number 0. The flowers are very similar too. Buttercup. I'm getting like the image or the download of a child, and say like as you were learning flower names like buttercup, your imagination would ignite and you'd kind of like make up these fable origin stories of the flowers and like how it might have evolved from butter, for example. Your imagination is being activated this week, and it's a big part of how you serve the world by being you. So if you were kind of like suppressed in some way in your imagination, or you were discouraged, let's say like that, you were discouraged consistently throughout your upbringing to kind of put away your imagination or treat it as less serious, you're being asked to bring it back because it's still there within you, and it's like, you know this, but you learned to kind of just keep putting it on the shelf, And with communication here, I really feel like you're a storyteller, and you have a story to tell right now with this new beginning card. New beginning. I feel like I want to qualify this a little bit more. New beginning. I'm gonna use this How to Love Yourself deck. And it says, I let my light shine. That's your new beginning. Letting your story come out, letting your light shine. Serve the world by being you. You are a light worker. Let your light shine. So clear. So if you're feeling the inspiration, you feel like you have an opportunity to shine your light, sing your song, tell your story, let your imagination flow, and your inner child will just help guide you along the way with your imagination to let the story come through. It almost feels like you're opening up a river between the spirit side and us here on earth, and it's kind of like you're able to be the one to open that river. It's a beautiful river. Energetically, it's looking like this, like kind of pink, purple, blue, and sparkly. And if you feel, I don't always mention the colors that I see, but if you feel that you've been feeling energetic colors, those colors specifically, that's a confirmation to you. So wishing you the best with that. That's your reading for the week. I will see you in any other of the piles you selected for this week, and hope to see you again in the next reading. And thank you for any likes, shares, and subscribes. Hi, reading 2. So you were drawn to the little blue bow, and here's your card. Inner child, so lovely. Okay, I have to mention this. The inner child came in strong in reading 1. So if you're also drawn to reading 1, I would highly recommend. I'm going to go ahead and pull tarot cards next, and then we're going to pull from this oracle deck last. So what can our reading 1 be guided by this week? Starting with the energy of the inner child and the blue bow. With the blue bow, I'm feeling something very tidy, like tying up loose ends, completing something, giving the finishing touches, and like ready to present it very proudly. Feel like pride at what you've created. I'm feeling a break here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this card. And this is the Ace of Cups in reverse. Then I'm also going to get this one, Death, and 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so with the Death and Rebirth card, you're having a new start, a new beginning, and like I said, the completion to something. You're ready to close a chapter clearly, and your inner child is a part of it. Stick her up there. For some people specifically, this is going to translate in a very like physical, real world way, not necessarily your inner child, but your child or your child to come. So if anyone has had any difficulty with trying to greet a soul on earth and it didn't quite happen, this message translates into your experience too. For other people, the message also translates into losing connection from your own inner child. And especially when you see the Death card, opening up the layers, it's like you find that inner child there. You reverse the flow, the negative flow of emptying your cup with the Ace of Cups. You're able to turn it around and learn how to fill your cup again. This is coming for you, but for this week, which is what this message is all about, you're discovering the upturned cup. You're discovering how that happened in the past. With the 10 of Wands, you're letting that burden go. You're no longer carrying the burden of snuffing out your own light. It's very intense what I'm feeling, that it's almost like you were given the job as a child to put out your own light, and you continued to do that job even when you became an adult. A lot of layers to peel back there, how that happened, but you're getting the hints, you're putting the pieces together, and you find a really great insight here with the bow You're able to kind of feel proud. And I feel like that's a major thing that was locked away. Your sense of pride in yourself and what you create, what you bring into the world. It's like you could never be proud. It was never good enough. That's what I'm feeling. You're able to find the root of that so that going forward, you can start to recognize that you are good enough, that you are great and amazing just as you are. Okay, let's get our... Makes sense now why I was drawn to this deck. It's called the Creative Consciousness Healing Deck. Let me see if I can find a good spot for this. So you're getting receiving... Oh wow, ooh, chills. Opening self to worthiness. So I guess that was exactly your message there. That this almost looks like the cup flowing right into you from above. It's like you're opening the valve. You're able to receive now that sense of pride, that sense of self-worth, your self-esteem. It's just the beginning for you. Opening is just the first step, and receiving and then continuing to practice receiving going forward is the next. So that's your beautiful message for this week. I will see you in any other piles that you were drawn to for this week. Thank you always for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments, and I hope to see you again soon. Hi, reading 3. So you were drawn to this fan, this pink and beige fan. Trying to pick up an energy with this. I'm seeing the fan like folding and opening. It's like it's not, things aren't always what they seem. When the fan is folded, it doesn't really look like it what it can open up into and become. So we'll just keep it there for now. See how it lands with the rest of the cards. And you're also getting solitude with a compass, northwest, east, and south coming in here. Oh, I just realized that I was called to pull only oracle decks. So you will have just oracle cards. Ooh, in your reading. Okay, I'm gonna take the top of each of these. Nourish yourself. You are entitled to nourish all aspects of yourself. Second draft, time to revisit your work. You are improving with each revision. And inner child, that's incredible. I'll tell you why it's incredible. Inner child holds space. It's incredible because inner child has come up in every reading until now. The first and the second, and then now yours. So if you were drawn to any of those other readings, definitely go ahead and check out the message there. With the solitude, being drawn to I see these as books here, and it's kind of like you're working on something, right, with the second draft. And I'm feeling like a hermit energy with this, that to get to that last stage of developing this work. So it doesn't have to be a writing, it doesn't have to be a book. It could be so anything you're trying to express or put into the world. If you're making a business, then it's like you're on the second draft of putting that business out there. If you're trying to, I'm getting an interesting message of like build a friendship. You're trying to put forth this connection in the world, then this would be your advice too. There's something about taking that hermit energy card, going within to help you unfold like a mystery or something within yourself that actually looks very different than you expect it to be. So I'm almost feeling it like this way, like say that you identify with your gender, your race, your personality type, or any like diagnoses you have. It's almost like you kind of created this expectation that, okay, I am this, therefore I have this identity, therefore I am like this. That's the fan closed. But when you open the fan, there's a beautiful discovery that, like, it's more than that. Yes, you are that, but you are also something else. You're also more than that. And you discover that going back to the initial thought, the initial draft. So let's translate that for if you're trying to build a connection. I'm feeling the friendship connection there with somebody that you've recently met. Then you may think like, oh, I'm the kind of person that, like, let's say, likes to go to brunch, you know, and so you invite this friend out to brunch. But then this friend says, oh, why don't we do brunch in the park? And it's just kind of like, oh, you discover that you are that kind of person. You like to go to the park at the brunch time. You don't always have to do brunch in a restaurant every time you want to hang out with your friends. That's a really simple example of just like keeping an open mind about who you are in the way that you express yourself or relate to other people. If you are working on some kind of writing, taking this a little bit more literally, because I am getting that for an example with the books and the writing, there's something you're saying and it's like you have said it, but you feel like it's still missing the essence or some sort of essential element. And if you kind of hold on to that energy, again, as we were saying before, that yes, you are writing this genre of work, but you open the fan and, oh, actually there's a lot more going on to it. It's just kind of like, don't box yourself in, open the box, open the fan, and then you'll find that sense of something that you're missing to make this composition complete. With inner child and nourish yourself, you're entitled to nourish all aspects of yourself. I'm feeling like these really go together, of course, with the main message as well. But I feel this as nourishing your inner child, holding space for your inner child, not telling your inner child to quiet down. That could be the thing that opens up your mind, unfurls the fan, and you start to see the broader spectrum of this story. So for example, say you were telling the story of something difficult you went through, and you've been like quieting your inner child every time your inner child pops up, and you're telling your inner child, this isn't your story, this happened when I was an adult. And then when you kind of go within in the hermit mode, and then you give your inner child, you go back to that second draft, ask yourself what's missing, you give your inner child space to express themselves, you realize, oh, there is this whole other story going on. Even though this thing happened when I was an adult, there is a parallel and a contributing story to what happened when I was a child. And you never put those pieces together, but once you do, then it's like the composition becomes complete, right? And so you do that by nourishing all aspects of yourself. I'm really feeling like a discipline or like a critical energy coming in around this card. This is countering that energy. So anywhere where you feel like overly disciplinary with yourself or overly critical, those are the places to nourish yourself this week. And of course, you can start with your inner child, whatever your inner child feels like they need. The top two things I'm feeling with the inner child, if this like helps you directly, is something soft, holding something soft, feeling comforted, maybe like a soft pillow or weighted blanket, and being heard, being acknowledged. So if you, like me say, open up a journal and start a dialogue with your inner child, or just getting quiet and asking your inner child to come forward with like visualization and talking to them, that's where you can begin this week. So I'm gonna close off your message. An oracle card. You came to serve. Yeah, there's strong connections here with reading 1 also, even though I already did link you back. Number 23. So yeah, this connection you're making, the story you're telling, this composition, this thing you're creating, it's meant to be for you to complete, for you to light up, to serve the world around you. And so this week is a big deal, a big step for you in that direction. And I'm wishing you the best week with that. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, or comments. If you're drawn to another reading in that pick a card section for this week, I'll see you there. And if not, I'll hope to see you next time. Hi, reading 4. So a lot going on in your reading from the very beginning. This was the reading where my cat stepped over the whole selection of cards, and this charm got stuck to her paw, traveled all the way off the side onto where I have my decks laid out, and landed on this deck, the Fifth Spirit Tarot. So we're going to use that. I was called to use actually a second tarot deck too, the Mystic Mondays here, as well as an oracle deck. So you're gonna have a few extra cards in here. And I just realized as I was going through setting up for the recording, We Are the Champions by Queen was in my head really loudly, and I realized that's super random and probably means that it's meaningful for your reading. And also there's a crown on the oracle deck we're using, so that's significant to royalty, like queen, and being a champion as well, I would say. So lots of messages coming in. If you use your intuition and any of those are significant already to you, just go with the flow. And then I'll add in some other bits as well. So this fin, if you came from reading 1 with the other fin, this fin has a different energy to it. It's a little bit more of, it's kind of like when, you know why humans wear fins to swim. It's because there's more efficiency. So with a fin, you just have to like flap, and you gain speed, you gain momentum with less energy. Their fin was more of a playful splashing fin at the surface. Yours is more submerged and a smooth, efficient, fast kind of swimming motion. So that's the first piece of your message coming through. Wow, you're getting money with the money tree, the lemon tree here. Something prosperous in your week. Everyone loves to hear that, right? So let's keep going. We are the champions, my friend. It's still playing in my head. It's a very kind of jubilant feeling, like almost like I told you so, like you were convinced something was gonna work out or pay off, and it did. It is. So that's really exciting. Okay, let me see. I do want to get 3 cards from this deck and then 3 from the other. So I'll make sure I can fit all of these in here. Just to see your fin. Okay. So, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, you're changing the way you're working on something. Wow, the Emperor, definitely that royalty, that champion again. And the High Priestess in reverse. You're putting to action some intuitive knowledge. Before, you were just receiving the knowledge and you weren't putting action to it yet. Now with Emperor, you know what to do. You're putting it into action. This is a very inventive looking Emperor, and it makes me think that you have a novel idea. With the Eight of Pentacles, all the tools here too that you've been tinkering with. It's interesting. You have a, oh my gosh, what is this called? A flat screwdriver, something like that. I'm noticing that I think it looks like the tools that are here are missing here. So whatever tool set you had before, you've gained already. This week, I feel like it's more about putting it to use. You have recently gained these and you're figuring out how it all goes together, especially with the High Priestess. Is there a key somewhere? I'm just saying that because in the High Priestess has a box, a locked box. It's almost like waiting for the key. So it's like, I don't see the key yet. Possibly that key is like the final piece. But you've got the whole set of tools here at your disposal. So clearly, like whatever you're been working on for a while, and maybe you've been going through ups and downs, challenges, and kind of gathering different information here and there, trying to make things work. Maybe something always felt like it wasn't fitting, or there was a piece still missing. That's over now. You have everything you need. And I want to say, because this deck specifically was chosen for you, thanks to my cat, and then intuitively this deck as well, pay attention to the imagery in these decks specifically, because every deck represents the cards differently. So because this was chosen for you, there are additional messages in the specific representations of the deck cards here. Okay, additional advice for our reading for this money-making venture, this idea they're putting together, this cardinal with the Aries, cardinal energy. Also, I mentioned earlier we're just past the Aries new moon. Emperor is an Aries card. So that energy is very significant for you and your creation, the thing you're working on. The bigger message is like, it's like you finally made sense of this vision you've been having, these ideas you've been getting. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, right next to the money card. Wheel of Fortune. I can already say, I felt this with the Ace of Pentacles reverse. It's not the right time yet to plant this seed, not the right timing to start on this. Wheel of Fortune, the right timing will come and it'll be apparent, it'll be shown to you. Four of Swords in reverse. This is kind of like what I said here, putting an end to that receptive state and putting a start to the active state, acting on this information. So you have an interesting message here of waiting for the right opportunity to genuinely start this venture. So say, well, let's take this as going public with your business, opening the shop doors, making your website live. But you are meant to take action on the information you've been receiving, the tools you've gained. So that would be doing the preparations, setting up the shop, making the business connections, even advertising. but make sure you have time to germinate, for the seed to germinate. This is interesting, and I think this is not a coincidence anymore. I was worried about my parsley plant. It's my first time planting parsley, and it didn't sprout yet. And it's been a week, and then I Googled how long does it take for parsley to sprout, and it was surprising because it's one of the plants that take longer to sprout, and it said 4 to 6 weeks. So this is what I'm feeling is meaningful to you too. Oh, yeah, you have a couple fours here. 4 to 6 weeks would be a key time period for you. So say that period when you feel like, yeah, I feel ready to go. Then start advertising the opening, the grand opening, but advertise it as 4 to 6 weeks away from whenever you feel ready to open. There's just something about the timing, about needing either the extra time to prepare for something unexpected that pops up, or some kind of like legal, like tax thing of like starting in like at some sort of time, like that would be important. So those are like the main examples I feel coming in. That would be the important message for timing. But if you don't know like what it could be, just try to use that as a rule of thumb, 4 to 6 weeks. But it looks like you have great things in store for this. It really feels like it's like everything's working with you on this too. Like any obstacles would just be part of the plan, really. Sundress, do it for you, number 41. This is beautiful. So you see the figure is out in the snow, but wearing a sundress, soaking up the sun that's there. It's almost like she knows that there's sun there. She sees it when everyone else just sees snow. It's interesting. You know, when you do this thing, in the beginning, I remember saying, like, I told you so energy with the we are with the champions. Do it for you. Do it so that you're just the champion for yourself. And for just to show that you were right all along with getting this idea, getting this download. Gray, number 37. Endings are inevitable. So this was an afterthought to pull a second card. I feel like this is for a few people if it makes sense to you. Your start, your opening, your new beginning here comes with an inevitable ending. So see the silver linings, you know, give thanks and for what was, gratitude for having it around, but also acknowledging that everything has its ending and it's time for that to end, wherever that's landing for you in relation to this message about starting something new. Building your vision in the world, particularly in the area of career and resources. So that's your guidance for the week. If you're drawn to another reading in the pick a card section, I will see you there as well. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments. And I hope to see you back here again for another week.